I have another great free pattern to share with you today. This is the Francis top by Fibre. I've sewn two versions of this top, one in a linen rayon blend and one in a light flowy viscose fabric. And I had enough of the viscose material to also sew a pair of coordinating shorts. These elastic waist shorts are from a previous sew along video that you can also find on this channel. I'll leave a link to that pattern in the video below. And you can find this viscose material online at Bonnie and Buttermilk. They carry a wide variety of knits and wovens and happy, colorful prints. I hope you join me in sewing this Francis top pattern. Grab the pattern, cut out your fabric, mark your notches, and let's get started. Before we sew the front and back bodice shoulder seams together, we're going to finish each of the seams separately. I'm going to be using my serger. Finish all 4 shoulder seams of the front and back pieces separately. Place your front and back bodice pieces right sides together and pin your shoulder seams. Sew your shoulder seams with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and press your seams open. Take your neckline binding piece to your ironing board and fold it in half, wrong sides together all the way across. Unfold this strip just for a moment and match the short ends right sides together. Pin or clip this short edge. Sew the short edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and press your seam open. Now I'm going to use pins to mark the 4 quarter points of my neckband. Also mark the quarter points of your neckline. And now we're ready to attach our neckband. Match the seam of your neckband with your center back pin and pin in place. You're applying your neckband to the right side of your bodice fabric. Continue pinning your neckband all the way around, matching those quarter points. Now I'm going to pin between the quarter points. Your neckband will be slightly smaller than the neckline, so you'll be using the mechanical stretch of the bias tape to get a perfect fit all the way around. Now that I have that neckband completely pinned all the way around, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew it in place all the way around with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that neckband is attached, I've gone ahead and pressed it up and on top of its seam allowance all the way around. And now I want to trim this seam allowance that I just created all the way around to about 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm ready to understitch the neckline. I'm going to sew the neck binding to its seam allowance, edge stitching close to the original seam line all the way around. Now fold that neck binding to the inside along the original seam line and give that a good press all the way around. And lastly, now that we have this binding folded to the inside, we're going to edge stitch close to this inner fold all the way around. Place your front and back pieces right sides together and pin or clip the underarm seam and the side seam. And do this on both sides. Now we're going to sew the underarm seam and the side seam with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Start at the end of the sleeve, and when you get to this point, pivot your stitching and continue down to the bottom of the hem. Now using a pair of sharp scissors, we're going to snip diagonally into this corner to the stitching line, but not beyond. Do that on both sides. This snipping will help us separate these seam allowances. Now we can finish the side seam in our preferred method. I'm going to be using my serger. For the underarm seam, you don't need to finish it, but go ahead and press that seam open on both sides. Fold and press the raw edges of your sleeve to the wrong side of the fabric by 3/8 of an inch. After that, you're going to press it once more, folding it once again to the wrong side of the fabric by an additional 1.25 inches all the way around. Now we're going to take it back to the sewing machine and edge stitch close to this inner fold all the way around, and you're going to be leaving a gap of about 2 inches so that we can insert our elastic. Do this for both sleeves. For the armbands, cut 2 strips of 1 inch wide elastic. The lengths for your size are listed in the pattern instructions. I'm going to attach a safety pin to one short end of one elastic, and I'm going to draw it through the casing at the gap that I left in my stitches. Once the elastic is out the other side, overlap those two short edges by about 1.25 inches and zigzag stitch back and forth to secure. Then you can pull your elastic to the inside of the casing, and then take it back to your sewing machine and stitch that opening closed following the original stitching line. Repeat all of these steps to apply the elastic to your other sleeve as well. For the bottom hem of the blouse, I've taken the raw edge and pressed it up to the wrong side of the fabric by about 1/2 inch all the way around. And then I'm going to do a rolled hem. I'm going to take that raw edge and fold it to the crease I made with the iron, and then on the crease and pin in place all the way around. Once you have that all pinned in place, take it to your sewing machine and edge stitch close to this inner fold all the way around. Give everything a nice final press and you're all done with your top. Thank you for watching this sew along. Make sure you check out my other videos for more great sewing inspiration, and I'll see you in the next video.